Good morning, guys. Today is Thursday, December 10th, 2020. Today we are going to continue working with exponents. And for today's assignment, you will have a chart very similar to this on your assignment. This is not the actual chart, but I made one like it. And for this assignment, you will have to fill in the completed parts of this table, the completed parts of this chart that are not filled in. And if you look in here, each row has a different amount of information filled out. Sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's just 1. And it's our job to fill the rest in. So if we work from left to right, the first one says number. And on the first one that's given to us, we have 8 squared. And our first job is to figure out the base. And if you guys think back to our notes, the base is the big number. It's the bottom number. It's the number that's sitting on the ground. So this is my base. So my base would be 8. My exponent is my number in the air, which is my 2. So that is my exponent. To write it in expanded notation, that is showing that repeated multiplication. So my base is the number I write, so we'll write down 8. And my exponent is how many times we'll write down that number. So this says I need to write down the 8 twice. So that'd be 8 times 8, and 8 times 8 is 64. For the next one, I do not have a number. I do not have the exponential form of the problem. But I know my base is 5. I know my exponent's 3. So my base is my big number, and my exponent's my number in the air, so it's 5 to the third. Expanded notation, so I show it with repeated multiplication. So this would be 5 times 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 5 more is 125. Next problem says nothing for the number, nothing for the base, nothing for the exponent, but I have expanded notation as 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So my base, let's start there. My base is the number I see. So my base is 2. My exponent's how many times I'm using that 2. I'm using that 2 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So my exponent is 4. So my number would be 2 to the 4th. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. And the other way to do that is to break that up into smaller multiplication facts. I can also say 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 4 is 16. That is the other way to do it. So there's 2 ways to do that problem. The next one says 10 to the 6th. Well, my base is 10. Wrong color. My base is 10. My exponent's 6. So I need to write 10 6 times. So that's me 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 tens. And we don't need to multiply that to solve the answer. We talked about this trick on Thursday. We talked about this trick on Friday and Monday. Whenever we have a base of 10, when our base is 10, to figure out what our answer is, all we need to do is write down the number 1, and then we look at the exponent, which is 6, and we write down the same amount of zeros as our exponent. So we write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. So it's 1 million is my answer. Ooh, the next one's a little tricky. It gives me an exponent of 3 and standard notation of 27. So I know I need to pick a number that when I multiply it by itself 3 times, it gives me 27. Let's start with 1 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1 times 1 is 1. So 1 times 1 times 1 is just 1. That's not 27. So let's bump it up a little bit. 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8. That's not 27. So I'm checking to see which number when I multiply by itself 3 times gives me 27. So let's try 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 more would be 27. So that would be the same as having a base of 3 and an exponent of 3. So it would be 3 to the 3rd. So it would be 3 times 3 times 3. And once again, that's true because 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. This might be something you can kind of guess and check on. Try a few numbers, multiply them out, and see what you get. On the next one, I have a base of 2 and an answer of 32. But I don't know my exponent and I don't know my number. All I know is I'm going to be using 2 to multiply it by itself until I get to 32. So if all I'm given is the base and the standard notation, I'm going to start in the expanded notation form and work from there. So let's say, okay, if I have a 2, how many times do I need to multiply that by itself to equal 32? Well, 2 times 2 would be 4, not there yet. Times 2 more would be 8, still not there. Times 2 more would be 16, still not there. Times 2 more would be 32. So I use 2 how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. My exponent would be 5. And to write that in exponential form in the number column, I would write 2 to the 5th. So that one you kind of have to work backwards. You kind of have to go here first and just figure out how many 2's you're going to need in order to get 32. On the next one, I have 7 to the 5th. Well, my base would be 7. I would have an exponent of 5. That would be the same as 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7. And if you watch the intro video or you read the directions on the actual assignment, I am fine if you use a calculator on this assignment when you need to for bigger problems like that. I don't expect you to multiply 7 by 7 by 7. There's no need to do that. So if I get out my calculator and I do 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7, I use 7 5 times, that would give me the answer of 16,807. My next one says, what number, my standard notation is 81, and my exponent's 2. So that means I need to multiply a number by itself twice in order to get 81. So I have to think what number times itself gives me 81. So let's try, well, we know 3 times 3 is 9. That's not it. 4 times 4 is 16. 5 times 5 is 25. 6 times 6 is 36. 7 times 7 is 49. 8 times 8 is 64. 9 times 9 is 81. So my base would have to be 9. My exponential form would be 9 to the 2nd power. And my expanded form would be 9 times 9. And my very last problem here would be I have a base of 23 and an answer, a standard notation of 23. So, well, what would my exponent have to be for my number to stay the same? If I start with a number and I end with that same number, it can't be 2 because I'd be multiplying and make it bigger. It can't be 0 because we all know that anything to the 0 power is 1. So the only power it could be to would be to the 1st power, because that means I have 23. So that'd just be 23, and that'd be 23 to the 1st power. So that is very, very similar to what your worksheet will be, your assignment is for today. So please make sure to complete it. Make sure if you have any questions, you email me, you ask me questions. If you're stuck, look over this again. If you're stuck, look over the YouTube videos at the bottom. You don't have to watch the YouTube videos on the bottom. Those are mainly there in case you are stuck, in case you're lost, and you want to watch those before you email me. But once again, you have an assignment due today that looks just like this. Do your best, work hard, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a great day. And one more time, if you have a question, please email me. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.